Moving on to the next order of business, we have hold on, let me find it. The Standards and Assessment Committee report recommendations. Committee Chair Randy Booth.
Well, here we are. My lights just went out. So I look like I'm from a Halloween spook movie or something.
I have a motion.
What the heck?
Chair, I have a motion.
Chair, Chair Booth, do you have a motion to put to the floor?
Its head.
Oh, okay. Do I have a motion?
Well, do you, did you want to bring the digital literacy standards revision to the floor?
I certainly do. I'm just having a hard time reading it in the
Oh.
dark.
What's that? Oh, hold on. Member Booth, would you like Vice Chair Green to step in while you get Siri?
My lights on.
Yeah, Siri or whomever to turn your lights back on?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Green, would you like to bring the standards and assessment report, please?
Yes. I'm probably starting with this one, right?
And I did miss 12.3.
Okay.
So if you could start with 12.3, that would be great.
And Chair, while they're finding that.
Sure.
We have emailed all board members a link to this motions template, viewing rights only, and you have to log in with your schools.utah.gov account if you want it to follow along on your computer instead of on the screen.
Excellent. Members that
I'm
have been.
back.
Oh, you're back.
I don't know why it keeps going out, but it does. So here we are.
Okay,
Item 12.3,
correct.
motion for the board. We move that the board approve the college and career awareness standards as amended, including any conforming technical changes.
Okay, do we have a second? We don't need a second. Excellent. Any comments to that motion, Chair Lear? Member Lear?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
No? Comments to that motion, Member Klein? Okay. Comments to that motion, Member Wood?
Yeah, I have just two simple, and I almost vote on them at the same time.
Okay,
They're just aligning the standard with the strand.
Okay.
So the first one is Strand 1, Standard 5. I move to delete and opportunities not offered through career and technical education, CTE, or post-secondary training programs. Throughout the CCA standards, you'll notice that there's an initial summary and then activities. This one doesn't have any activities associated with it.
okay.
And the other one is changing the word to and. There's 3 strands, and we only have 2 sentences. So sorry, I spoke to it.
No, okay. Do we
Sorry.
have a second for those two motions to get, or the two changes, one motion?
Second.
Thank you. You spoke to it.
Sorry.
Would you like to speak to it
No,
any
that was
further?
good.
Are those the ones on the screen? Deputy Norman? Yes. Thank you. Any other questions to those motions? Do you have a question to that motion or queued up? Okay.
Just.
You have a question?
Out of curiosity, I don't know, is this true, staff? I usually refer to staff, not questioning your integrity here, Member Wood. but Is this accurate with this
Yes,
improved? Okay.
Yes, a board member Wood did check with staff and made sure that it was correct.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, I do see you reading. Would you,
I'm just trying to, can you make it bigger?
can
Sorry.
you bigger it?
Embiggen?
Embiggen it?
And what I'll do so you can see it all on one line is I'll pull it up. One thing that may be helpful for staff is if you look at the template on the far left side, it is by number. And as you look at the numbers that go down, it would be helpful, probably for board members as well, is to say on line 16, we have, Standard 1, Strand 4, I have an amendment, and that will help everyone be able to navigate through the document easier. So right now, we have the two motions. I'll pull them up into one motion at the top, but it would be referring to that one at the bottom.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, I do have a comment.
Okay,
So,
Member Boggs.
in strand number 4, and may I direct my question to Member Wood?
You can, she doesn't necessarily have to respond.
Okay, so I'm just confused because it appears as if we've now got a grammatical error with your amendment to strand 4. It states, I'm just gonna start on the third line, halfway through the second line, that leads to rigorous course-taking patterns and understanding educational and financial opportunities and risks for future and it's too late, guys, and career goals. It just seems to me like the 2 is a better fit, and maybe I genuinely don't understand it because as I read it with the "and" change there, we have to change the infrastructure of the sentence itself. Could you help me understand that?
Chair, can I speak to that?
Please.
Okay, so up in the top, it has a line where it summarizes the thing. It summarizes in 3 ways. And so the students will demonstrate stress management strategies, comma, create a plan study that leads to rigorous course-taking patterns, comma, and understand educational and financial opportunities and risks for future academic and career goals. And if you look at the activities that are aligned with that below, there are 3 separate activity lines. This doesn't show all of those separate. Maybe the first one does. Maybe the first column would show you the 3 separate activities that are aligned with those 3 separate things.
Does that answer the question? Let me see if she has a follow-up. Do you have a follow-up to that? Or I can go to the next question and come back to you, Member Bogus?
Yes, please.
Okay. Member Klein?
Is the motion the red strikeout or just the and?
Just the and, just to cut that third thing, because it's dividing it into 3 different sections. And that one said that you were taking rigorous course-taking patterns to understand educational, and my kids don't take rigorous classes to understand educational and financial opportunities.
Yeah.
They don't do that to do this.
Yeah.
They do this
It
and
is
they do this.
odd. Member Lear,
Point
did you
of
have a question?
It's more a point of information that Deputy Norman said many, many times, and it continues to be true, that the staff can fix the prepositions. That this is a little bit different, I agree. But
Okay.
to Christina's point about,
Okay.
about a to or an and, I think that we can trust
a-
the
it's a-
staff to fix
Sure.
grammar.
Technical changes will be made before publication. Okay. We ready to vote? Let's vote. Member Bogus?
Yes.
Do I need to restate? Thumbs up if I need to restate. Thank you. Member Booth?
Yes.
Member Klein?
Yes.
Member Davis is back with us, I believe.
I called her that we were starting again.
Member Davis, are you online? Okay, we'll come back to her. Member Green? Member Green? Yes. Thank you. Vice Chair Earl?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Hymus?
Yes.
Member Carey?
Yes.
Member Lear?
Yes.
Member Norton? Member Reel?
Yes.
Member Straight?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes.
Chair Moss? Member Davis, you make it in yet?
Yes, I got kicked out. I'm a yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. Next, Chair Booth?
All right.
No?
So we have to go back to the original motion.
Thank
I'm so
you.
sorry.
Thank you.
I should have point of ordered. I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. We're back to the original motion, which was,
That the board approve the college and career awareness standards as amended, including any conforming technical changes.
do we have a second? Oh, is ours, we don't need one. Yeah. Do we have Okay, Member Straight.
Yes.
Oh, wait, no. Is there any questions to the motion? Are there?
No.
Okay, Member Earl, you have a light?
No, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Then seeing no questions, we are going to go to a vote. Member Bogus?
No.
Member Booth? Member-
Yes.
Member Klein?
Yes.
Member Davis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Earl?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Hymus?
Yes.
Member Carey? Member Lear?
Yes.
Member Norton? Member Reel?
Yes.
Member Straight?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes.
Chair Moss? Yes. Okay. We'll get his vote for the record later, but that passes. Thank you. Chair Booth?
Thank you. I want to just insert here to help the
I-
board in this decision, in these decisions. This is a reminder, the board previously approved the process and the formatting for the supplemental seed standards. That's all of your science and engineering standards. And changes to this format causes vertical and horizontal misalignment. So as you are making any amendments today, just know that something that's in bold in what came from the writing committee, there needs to be something in bold. There needs to be something that's underlined. There's something that's italicized. These are cross-cutting concepts. They are having to do with horizontal and vertical alignment. And then at the end, many of the standards contain additional emphasis statements and example statements. And if we cut any of these things or remove them, it will need to be replaced by another science and engineering practice or cross-cutting concept to maintain the alignment. And even the italicized sections of the engineering expectations will cause misalignment. So just know that if you remove any of those things, I'm going to say that the staff, as you'll hear in the words of the motion, that we will approve the motion, including any technical, grammatical, and formatting changes as needed, where staff needs to reinsert something that would allow for the alignment, they will do so. And so moving on to the next one, we're
Chair,
now,
Chair Booth, can
Yeah.
I made an error and didn't state the vote of the last item. So before you get started, I would like to announce that for item 12.4, the vote was 11 in favor, 1 opposed, 2 absent. Please continue, Chair.
all right, we have now,
Oh, she
what
is.
item,
Okay, perfect.
what item are we on?
We are now moving to
13.
we just did that, so now we have had two.
Chair Booth, I think it's digital literacy.
Yeah, that's what I've got, but I don't know what the numbering is on. Is it 13.1?
Yes, you're right. My mistake. You are on 12.4,
Okay,
digital literacy.
all right. The motion for the
Right.
board is that the board approve the digital literacy standards, including any conforming technical changes as amended.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So just for clarification, 12.4, there was actually no action because it was moved to a special session. So it is also 13.2 for those following along online and in the meeting. So thank you. We don't need a second? Member Wood?
I have a motion on line number 6, standard 1. This would to add identify common connectors for peripheral devices and to strike secondary and replace it with primary.
Okay, do we have a second for that?
Wait, but those are secondary.
We have a second, so would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, so just the common connectors, this was a different one, it got changed. This should have said port connectors. I apologize, I was reading what was online. It should say port connectors.
Instead of primary?
Instead of common, it should say port connectors.
Okay,
I think when I took them through staff and got it properly.
Okay, so does that clarify for you? We're not actually changing the,
Yeah, that's what it should have said when they went through staff.
So,
This is just to help them, we've got a whole bunch of USB, USB-C. We're not putting examples right now, because in 5 years, they could be completely different, but just getting those,
so the word port covers
Yeah.
what might,
it is and
Okay.
what might come to pass. Lightning, thunder.
okay? Member Klein?
Yeah, so my question is, because if we changed it from primary to secondary, because those are secondary, peripheral devices are by nature secondary devices, as opposed to your primary device.
I'm happy with either one. They were both there, and I figured we needed one and not
Oh,
the other.
well, it was supposed to, we changed it and I think we voted in favor of changing it from primary to secondary.
When it got
Because
released.
that's the technical, technically it's a secondary device, so.
You can swap it.
So,
I would amend it
Is it a
to
friendly emotion?
strike.
Yeah, I just didn't think it didn't make sense to have both sitting there.
They just probably forgot to strike the one after we
Okay.
amended it.
Okay.
excellent. So,
So do we need to even make a motion? Because I
no,
think
because
we
I
already
think it
did
was an
that.
error in.
Yeah.
As long as Leanne's good.
Deputy Norman, are you tracking? So I think instead of crossing off port, somebody crossed off secondary maybe even?
Did somebody second?
Yes, we did have a second,
Sorry.
Yeah, but that's probably what happened.
yeah. Regardless, what we are voting on is identify port connectors for peripheral devices and identify primary peripheral devices. What's on the screen is what we're voting on.
I thought that it was secondary peripheral
It's
device.
supposed to
It
be
is.
secondary. Peripheral devices are secondary.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, we're
There we
still
go.
voting on what's on the screen.
Okay, ready to vote?
Yes, ready
I'm
to
doing
vote.
votes here. Bogus? Christina?
Come again?
Are you ready to?
vote.
Okay,
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. I apologize to you.
that's right. Booth?
Yes?
Yes,
Klein?
You voted
Yes.
Davis?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Green? Yes. Hart?
Yes, ma'am.
Hymus?
Yes.
Carrie? Lear?
Yes.
Norton? Real?
yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
And Moss?
Yes.
Back to Norton. Okay.
Member Norton, are you online? I heard she might be attempting to get online, so
Okay,
we'll
that
keep
was
checking.
13, votes were 13 and 2, no votes. Or no votes, absent.
Absent votes. You stated the vote.
I just did.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Chair Booth?
all right. The next motion, that the board
no.
approves the creative writing
no.
standard.
Oh, my gosh. I am so sorry.
I'm not trying to be.
No, you are right.
have to
You
vote
are,
on that.
you are absolutely right.
I have one more motion.
You have one more motion. Okay, I promise I'll slow down.
Okay,
Member Wood?
this is line 24. Oh, I have two more. This is line
Two more.
24, standard 4. I moved to strike the words use analog materials whenever possible. I was researching analog, and that's like videotapes and photographic film, and when I went through staff, it kind of dates our materials.
Okay. So your motion is to
Strike
strike,
that line.
okay? Do we have a second?
Second.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
I did, I'm sorry.
You did? Question, Member Klein?
Yeah, just, we put, so that was my motion analog, and what I meant by that was low or no tech kind of devices, whenever possible, just to bring in that balance so that they're not living their lives online or on devices all the time, but to experiencing life outside of technology.
And
So-
could I speak
so
to
if
that?
there's
I
another
appreciate
word
that.
for
It just-
analog.
Analog didn't
So
work.
is there, is there a word?
You can either suggest an amendment, or
trying to-
if that is covered under balance, personal wellness and technology, you might,
Well,
You might
those are
see
the
if-
4 things that are supposed to
Okay.
be, I just don't know another word for it.
non-technology. So what we have is a motion on the floor right now.
I would move to amend.
There we go.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
To, help me out, phone a friend. Use, I don't know, like hardbound books and paper and pencils and art materials. I know, like non-tech. We'll just say non-tech materials. Whenever. Use non-tech, or take a break. That's not covered in the others. No, we don't, because we just want it to.
May I?
Yeah,
A tiny bit out of order, I'm not making a motion, but perhaps Member Klein could consider to monitor screen time effectively, maybe. I'm
Well,
suggesting,
No, we have that already. This is about using,
okay, I withdraw my comment.
finding other things to use in your life. Like, just to take a break from, I mean, we have take a break kind of things, exercise regularly, but
We do say offline, sorry. And then we list others.
well,
I do think it is covered, but.
okay, so we have a motion on the floor. You can think about that. Let's move on this one and then consider whether or not you want to bring a motion. Motion on the floor. Any other comments to this motion? Let's vote.
All right, let's go Wood,
Yes.
Moss,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
okay.
Hey, there she is.
Lear,
Yes.
Carrie, Hymus,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Green. Yes. Earl's a yes. Davis,
Yes.
Klein,
no.
Booth,
Yes.
and Bogus.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to state the vote?
Your mic's.
Sorry, it was 1 no, 1 absent, and 13 yeses.
Okay, Member Klein, your light is on?
Well, I have another amendment while I
okay.
think about that.
Okay.
So on strand 4, standard 4, thinking. I do believe it's standard 3. I'm on digital wellness. The definition, well, there's not, oh, sorry. I don't have that document.
It's the link, it's the link in the email.
Who's that email from?
I don't know where that document is.
It's line 23, Board Member Klein.
To you, so the one that I got, I forwarded to your statement. Yes, it just worked.
Oh, here we go.
Member Wood?
She's been working with?
Member Wood?
This one here, okay. All right, I have strand 4 standard for digital wellness. It says as the preventative measures, but it should be is.
Strand
It just,
4, standard 4?
it's like the definition
24, so our,
of digital wellness.
so, but you guys just voted to approve that.
Digital wellness is the
You just voted on that one. Okay. So this is an amendment? Okay.
That one could just be a technical fix, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a
Okay,
technical.
but then the one right, I think, close by it, I'm just trying to find, okay, where we are in this document.
Yeah.
24?
Member Klein, we are going to hold on that. I mistakenly left Member Wood.
Yeah,
Do you have another amendment on that?
I do, but she can go.
Okay.
Chair,
Okay,
Chair.
this one's a
Okay,
simple
okay,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
Chair,
Okay.
just point of order, just for clarification. I just want to make sure that we're all tracking and following. So I'm going to just kind of go back to this template one more time. When we have the 3 rows, and then we have the lines. So the green part is what was put forward from the writing committee. The middle part is what was approved through the Standards and Assessment Committee. The other part on the third part that is being shown right now are amendments. So what was just asked was Member Wood was making a motion, and her motion right here passed, correct?
That is correct.
So then are we having another motion on the same standard? Because how we've done it is we do all of them for one strand or one, but we're not doing that.
No, we're not. We're doing it per person.
Okay, so
But-
per chance, if there was 3 different amendments for
Correct.
one, then each one of those would be heard and voted on. So if Board Member Woods passes and then Board Member Klein's passes, then what do we do with both of those? Does one then supersede the other one?
I see the problem.
I think it's only when there's 2 amendments on the same.
On the same,
And
yes.
this is on this, yeah.
I
So-
see what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Just had to find
Um,
out.
Yes, that is a fatal flaw.
So if it's the same motion on the same item, someone would bring a motion to sub versus passing 2 that are reflective of the same item. Does that make sense? So, and then we would vote on one or the other, or
We would
vice
have to.
versa? Yeah. So the other person would make a motion to sub. We
Right.
wouldn't have 2 competing.
So you could still go by person, and then the
Yes.
person would give their amendment. You're great at this in
Yes.
our standards meetings. You do this all the time. You're really good at
Yes.
it. And then, so like, say Leanne was going and Natalie had one as well, then she
Then
could
she would
sub
need
motion.
to, yeah, she would need to sub or amend the motion that's on the floor
That's
instead of going
correct.
one by one by
Yeah,
one.
we're not, yes.
Yes.
Does that make sense where you're at? Did you want to do something with this?
So was that in the one you did?
Yeah.
That part? Oh, and didn't notice that because I was trying to find my place.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add possible, and identify possible consequences of cyberbullying. But, we haven't done just the strand, have we? That wasn't part of it, strand 4,
No,
okay, because I
we
have,
have not.
This was just standard for strand 4, yes. And
Okay.
so,
find it, there we go. Yeah, it's on line 23.
Okay.
so we're moving from line 24. And Board Member Klein, are you withdrawing your amendment then that was first, is that how we're doing it? Or I just want to make sure
Well,
I'm clear.
It sounds like I missed my opportunity.
Okay,
for
so now
that.
we're on line
Yeah.
23, thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
So if you'll go to I think the one
yeah. so
you're
no,
addressing.
Line
right?
23.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would move to amend it to read, students recognize the risks and benefits of learning and working online. Students will learn to conscientiously balance their time online and offline to maintain mental and physical health and to nurture meaningful in-person relationships with family and friends in the physical world.
Okay, do we have a second for that amendment? We do not have a second for that amendment. Next amendment, Member Wood?
Yes, it's line 33, strand 6.
Let's give Deputy Norman a minute to get there.
Okay.
There we go, it's on the screen.
Member Wood, did you say 20? I can barely hear. Maybe it's me.
Sorry, I'm kind of far away.
Okay. Did you say 26?
Line 33,
Oh,
strand 6.
There you go.
okay, thank you.
I would move to add the words students will communicate clearly using a variety of platforms. So the words communicate clearly using.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
I feel this gives a purpose for their digital media creation.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Member Klein? No? Okay. Public two?
Ready to vote?
No, not yet. No, seeing no questions, please vote.
All right, Bogus. Yes. Booth.
Yes.
Klein.
No.
Davis.
Yes.
Okay, Earls, yes. Green.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Hymus. No? Okay.
No, sorry,
I
no.
messed up. All right. Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Brill.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
And Moss.
Yes.
And I think we had 2 noes, if I did that right.
Yeah, you did.
13-2? Oh,
Yeah. Sorry. I know I've been in and out, but I'm a no on that.
okay.
Thank you.
Hymus, were you a no too? Okay.
Correct.
So 3 noes and 12 yeses.
And one final one.
And yes, you are next.
Line 36, this just, now that we changed the strand definition, aligns the performance skill with the strand definition. I would add the words project, that, and then demonstrates their ability to communicate clearly using a variety of digital media appropriate to their goals.
Do we have a second? Second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
I did.
You did?
I'm trying
Thank
to
you.
rush through. I'm so
Any
sorry.
questions? You're fine. Any questions? Seeing no questions, let's vote.
All right. Let's start with Moss.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Brill.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Hymus.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Earl, yes. Davis.
Yes.
Klein.
No.
Booth.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Okay, that was 14-4 and 1 opposed.
That motion passes. Next, I see no other lights. Member Wood, did you have another amendment? No. Then I'd be seeking a motion to
I'll do that.
go for it.
It's already placed. We just need a vote.
Oh, okay.
Okay, vote. So Bogus. Yes. Booth.
Member Booth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Klein.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Earl, yes. Green.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Hymus.
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Brill.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood. Moss.
Yes.
And that passes unanimously.
Point of information.
Yes, sure.
So in this action item, I see all of this stuff here, but I don't see the order that you're going in, and maybe I'm missing something.
Okay, we are under 13 so we're under 13, which was the special session, or the special meeting from the April 25th meeting. We just finished the digital literacy standards, and now we're going to 13.3, and you'll see that there's several motions underneath those.
See, I don't see, I'm sorry, I don't see that. I'm on 13.3, but I just see a bunch of documents. I don't actually see an order.
You should first see the creative writing standards.
Yeah, you can look at the screen.
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Yeah, and the order would be would be alphabetical order. If not, we could just go through them alphabetically
Okay.
if needed. Okay.
Oh, so mine are out of order.
Or we could just
So
tell
next
me
would
what to
be
bring up,
creative
and
writing.
that's what we'll bring up.
Well, we'd like to do creative writing next. So, Chair Booth, would you like to put a motion on the floor?
Thank you. Yes. We move that the board approves the creative writing standards as amended, including technical, grammatical, and formatting changes as needed.
The motion's on the floor. We don't need a second. Member Bogus.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have no amendments.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just trying to figure out what.
Sure. We are doing creative writing first, Next up will be the professional and technical communication standards. So that you can cue that up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Member Klein, do you have an amendment for creative writing?
My motion on the doc here.
Okay, hold on. Do you,
Starting on line 24.
look at,
Oh,
look
here
at
it
line
is.
24. Is that it?
Yes, that is it.
Okay, if you would state that, please.
All right, so I would move to amend standard 4.5 to read, examine and evaluate a personal work for the effective use of literacy techniques or elements using free-form response.
Okay, the motion is on the
Sorry, literary, it should say literary.
use of literary techniques.
I think I said literacy, but
Okay,
it says
liter-
literary. It's correct
And
on
that's
the
what it
page.
said. It's
Yeah.
correct on the screen.
Yeah.
Do we have a second for that? Seeing no second, let's move. Do you,
I can't even read your thing with my glasses on and I just stutter. I just need a little time to read. I just feel like
Oh,
I'm moving
okay.
so fast.
okay.
And so I apologize.
I will restate the motion. The motion is to, the amendment states, the change is examine and evaluate a personal work for the effective use of literary techniques or elements using free-form response. And that would replace evaluate personal and peer writing through the use of rubrics, checklists, and/or portfolios.
May I speak to it?
We need a second first.
Member Green did second it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a second from Member Green.
Okay.
Now, please speak to your motion.
Yes, so this is for creative writing, and so you'll notice I have the rationale there that this should help avoid the imagination inhibiting rubric assessment and yet preserve focused introspection when it comes to a student's personal writing, which they may not wish to have identified as theirs in a class setting.
Thank you. So we've got a motion and
I have a comment.
a second on the floor. We have a comment, Member Reel.
Yeah, I talked to a creative writing, an ELA teacher who was on the writing committee, and I asked about this amendment, and she explained that how important it is for students to compare their writing with other students so that they can, it's a better way for them to apply what they've learned, but also compare and learn how to give feedback, which leads to improvement. And that also understanding the rubric is so important so that they know how teachers are grading them and that they need feedback to improve so that they can get the best possible grade and show what they've learned. So that was really important to them and the writing committee.
Okay, thank you. Member Klein?
I have a question. It seems like with all of this that we are taking it out of the hands of the teacher and putting it like this, the self-evaluation is becoming everything where the kids evaluate themselves and their peers and are doing the work that teachers used to do. A teacher used to have a rubric and would grade by a rubric. Now the kids are being made to use the rubric and grade each other, which in a creative writing or anything else, you know, it tends towards groupthink because they don't want to stand out from their peers if they have to have everything that they do critiqued by their peers. And so, especially in a creative writing class, we don't want to inhibit that creativity or put them where they feel vulnerable of criticism from their peers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Member Reel?
the writing committee instructor said that this was also important because it's something that they will do a lot once they reach the higher ed level. And I think that one of the most crucial things that we can teach our students in any subject is the ability to work together and collaborate.
Thank you. Member Green?
Yes, I advocated for this one in the beginning because I personally do see the value of rubrics and checklist portfolios. Putting that in front of other people trains your eye to be able to review a paper. I kind of feel like these two are completely separate. They are kind of two very separate techniques that you can have in creative writing and editing. So on that note, I guess I explained it. So I'd
Okay.
like to move to amend and
Oh,
separate
you-
the two.
Separate,
So separate, leave standard 4.5 as written
okay.
and take Kleins and make it standard 4.6.
I see. Okay. Deputy Norman, you checking? Thank you. Let's give her a minute to put it up on the screen.
And I guess, can I speak to that?
Hold on, we need a second. We have a second. Just go ahead and speak to it.
Well, I guess it actually ties back to my original comment that I made, and it was just that writing that I got back from my teacher in her red pen as a 7th grader was just wonderful, you know, and I still have that and I look back on it. So it's like that personal engagement where you get to see it from both your peers and your teacher. It's very meaningful and I think it's very age appropriate. So in that light, I would also support something like that.
Okay, Member Reel, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Naomi's here that could speak on that, if it then aligns with the strand or if that,
Goes,
yeah, I've learned a lot about how it needs to be aligned and I don't want to unalign things and confuse teachers.
do we have someone that can speak to that, please? Wow. Please state your name and rank and title and.
All the things.
All the
I am
things.
Naomi Watkins, secondary ELA specialist. And I read the article that Board Member Klein linked to, and my understanding of the article was it was discussing free-form writing as a type of pre-writing, which it's best practice, of course, like having people write and write and write before they actually go to write their actual paper to come up with ideas. So I personally don't know how the article aligns to evaluating work.
Okay. The question that Member Reel, would you restate your question?
On this, Member Green added a 4.6, and it then has what was originally written in 4.5 and then 4.6, and it feels like it doesn't align with the strand.
My understanding is the strand is called collaboration and evaluation, so it would still fall under evaluation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Member Straight, did you have, your light went off. Your light
Well,
went on.
I don't want to get too caught up in this, but I'm not certain where instructional strategies begin and standards end. And so I guess I'm not quite certain. I'm trying to think through it. But feedback is a very effective instructional strategy in any subject, and if done incorrectly, student feedback can be worthless. Done properly, it can be incredibly helpful. Let me just give a little bit of efficiency numbers. If you are an English teacher and you have 200 students, and you sit down and put red marks on paper, you can do 20 per hour. That's 10 hours to give that feedback. And so that's why oftentimes teachers have went to more efficient models. Is teacher feedback useful? Yes, but it needs to almost be immediate. In other words, as you're working on it, the teacher is roaming the room, they're in their groups, listening, giving feedback. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't want to get into this big, long diatribe, but that's kind of how I see it, and I'm not sure where I'm at on this anyway.
Okay, thank you. Member Bogus.
So, thank you, Chair Hart. Good gravy. I just would speak in favor of this motion. I think sometimes, no, I don't think. My experience has proven that when students engage in a creative process, sometimes one manner is effective, but this is also really effective to did they use the techniques? Because sometimes you can use all the techniques and you still don't have a wonderful product, right? But you use the techniques, and then the next step is getting those techniques and putting them into something that's coherent. And I do think that this is beneficial to students to use this process and to engage in it in real time so that they can move to the next level. And so I would support that.
Thank you. Seeing no other lights, we're going to move to vote on the amendment.
Do you
The amendment to the amendment.
do you want to, are we good?
Well,
I'm
yes.
going to read it out.
So what we are voting on is splitting changing the amendment to actually two different points, 4.5 being evaluate personal and peer writing through the use of rubrics, checklists, and/or portfolios, and 4.6, examine and evaluate a personal work for the effective use of literary techniques or elements using free-form response. You are voting for those two items.
Okay, clear? All right, Wood,
No.
Straight,
No.
Brill,
No.
Norton,
Member Norton? Come back to
all right, Lear,
No.
Carrie,
Yes.
Hymus.
I'm voting to abstain on this one.
Okay,
I know, right?
yeah, I know. Hart,
yes.
Norton is a yes.
okay, Hart,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Davis,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Booth,
No.
Bogus. Yes.
Oh, sorry,
And
yes.
Moss.
Yes.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 noes. How'd I do?
So that was a vote on the amendment. Don't we now need to, do we have any other amendments? Member Wood?
Nope.
Okay, Member Klein?
Sorry.
Okay, now let's vote.
All right, Bogus.
We're voting on the underlying motion, is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
as amended.
Booth.
No.
I will restate the motion. The motion is that the board approve the creative writing standards as amended, including the technical, grammatical, and formatting changes as needed, as amended.
I have another.
Oh, you do have another
Yes,
amendment?
sorry, I thought we were voting on
No.
this
We
one
already
again.
we voted on this. It split it into two, so it covered, the amendment covered the entire, like,
So we don't have to go back to my original
no, because
amendment.
you voted, it did.
It did both.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I have another
Okay,
motion, 'cause I
that
was
was-
confused.
all
Okay.
right.
So,
Before we move on, I'm sorry to interrupt. May we talk about that standard added from an ELA perspective? Like the-
Excuse me?
As staff, that standard has some issues, and we weren't asked on the alignment and some of those pieces with that particular standard.
That question was asked, and
point of order.
she said it fit.
I'm just asking for permission to speak.
Oh, please speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Thronson, Director of Teaching and Learning. Freeform was not something that either of I were very familiar with, so we did some work to see what that meant. It is like stream of consciousness and brainstorming. Your idea is to kind of get ready to write. I'm not sure that, and maybe Board Member Klein can explain, we just want to be able to help teachers
Point of
implement
order.
the standard if you have accepted it. How you would want kids to evaluate brainstorming.
Point of order. She was not addressed. She was not asked.
I offered, I said, I
After
recognized
she,
her.
yeah, I mean, they're supposed to answer when they're called upon, not,
She's asking a question.
It's fine. It's fine. She can speak. So,
debating. Yeah.
yeah,
That's different than answering a question.
yes, but the question was asked. I believe the question was asked here, and what happened was,
I might have thrown
one asked
Naomi
a
off guard
question.
because she was still thinking about freeform, but I was asking about that exact thing that Dr. Thronson is talking about.
okay,
So. Was
so,
it directed to staff?
yes, she directed a question to staff. I was under the impression that that answered the question, and I misunderstood that exchange. do you still have was your question
I
answered?
do, and I do appreciate when staff jump in, because oftentimes we're going through these amendments, looking at the details, and we don't often look at alignment or the particulars that we might not understand, so.
But Robert's rules, it's Robert's rules.
And I care more about making the standards right for the students, so I appreciate it. I still do have that question, because it didn't feel like it aligned and that there were some issues with
Okay.
that amendment.
Okay, so originally the question was, does that fit under the standard? And you mentioned the evaluation piece is so that fit, but that wasn't your, that's,
It's an
okay.
afterthought.
So when I said yes, it meets under the strand because it is about evaluation. The piece that we have a question about is the using free-form response, because that is not typically something that is used for evaluation. It is something that is used during pre-writing. So we're
Okay.
just looking for a clarification as to how Board Member Klein sees that and Green see that as
Okay.
applying. Does that?
Okay, so that has to do with the fact that the article addressed free form, and that wasn't necessarily what was said. And so it's just a clarification so that as it's written in there, it's what you intend. So,
Let me ask a question. If creative writing, would you say free form or rubric is more creative?
I think what you're asking is, you said free form was important, but how is that to be evaluated? In
Examine and evaluate a personal work for the effective use of literary techniques or elements using free form response. So it's in there. An individual or the teacher can examine and evaluate the piece of free form writing.
Okay, are you using free form as the evaluation or as the writing?
It's reading, you are examining and evaluating the work, the free form work for literary techniques and elements.
Right, but the sentence says, examine and evaluate a personal work for the effective use of literary techniques using, so you're examining and evaluate using free form. So you're talking about free form evaluation, not free form writing.
Yes.
Okay. They are talking about free form feedback rather than using a rubric.
So that's a bad idea. I mean, if it's a pre-writing activity, it's an instructional strategy to get.
No.
They're doing their own evaluation in writing in a free form fashion.
Okay.
Oh. It's still.
It's still, yes. I think we're fine. We're fine. All right. Where are we with our votes?
I don't believe there was a vote needed,
Chair-
Chair Hart, because
Chair-
that was just
yeah.
simply
I
a
just-
question. I think we're at an
It-
amendment.
I have another motion.
That's correct. We have another motion.
But I
Chair,
can
it's
see
already
your
been
name
voted
now,
on.
So I can call you by the correct name.
So I have a motion 4.1, which is on line 24. And it would strike the words in collaboration with others. And, oh, there's also, yeah.
Are you ready with that?
Yes.
Will you read it, please? Will you read your amendment?
Yes, so it would say, generate ideas and research to draft, plan, present, and publish original work.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. Member Hymus?
It's, keep me in the queue, will you?
Member Bogus? In the queue? Thank you. Member Wood?
Just a reminder, this would be removing collaboration from the collaboration strand.
Okay. Thank you. I see no other comments. Member Lear?
Oh, no, no.
Okay.
Okay,
See
ready?
no others.
Bogus? You ready? We're taking a vote.
So I'm so sorry. You said it removes it from the collaboration strand, but I don't see a collaboration strand.
The strand is collaboration and evaluation. Students will collaborate with peers in the production and evaluation of writing. That's the strand, and then these are the elements underneath it. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I know that the Standards Committee has practice with these documents.
No, that's all
Clearly-
right.
Clearly, I need 2 more sessions, member real.
Okay.
Okay, we
Right.
ready to vote?
So should I start at the bottom?
Yes, please.
Moss?
Yes. No, sorry.
No? Yes, no. Okay, Wood?
No.
Straight?
No.
Real?
No.
Norton?
No.
Lear?
No.
Carrie?
No.
Hymus?
No.
Hart?
No.
Green? No. Earl is no. Davis?
No.
Klein?
Yes.
Booth?
No.
Bogus?
No.
Okay, that's 14 in favor, 1 opposed.
All right, I have,
Opposite of whatever I said.
So the motion fails.
okay.
Next would be Member Hymus.
Wait, can I? Sorry, I'm sorry to burst in. I had my hand up on the last motion, but I didn't get called on.
I am so sorry. Member Davis, I believe this is Member Davis. Please, you're recognized.
It's okay. After I heard the explanation, I just want to say for the public record, I would have voted differently. I thought the standard was that the student was going to evaluate some free form writing prior to the official writing for literary techniques and such. And that's why I voted for that standard. So I know, I just want to go on record and say that that was not explained prior to us voting. So I just have to speak my piece. Thanks.
Were you on the prevailing side?
Yes, I was.
Then you have every right to bring it back if you wish.
Well, it's so late, you guys. Can we take a quick vote, or we can talk about it for a long time? I'll move to bring it back.
Let
so
me
the
just
vote's
let me
accurate.
just remind the body that we've got to get these right, and I know we're tired, but this is we need to be
I'm
responsible and
I'm
not
sorry
look
to
at the
add to-
clock.
Member
No, that I accept responsibility for that as well. Are you bringing it back?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
please.
There's a motion on the floor to bring back the 4.2
6.
and 4.4.
4.4, it's on the screen behind you.
Line 28, 4.5.
I'm sorry. There's a motion on the floor to bring back 4.5 and 4.6. Do we have a second?
Second.
Are you on the prevailing side?
I abstained because of this very reason. Am I
Okay, you
prevailing or
can't
not?
second. Does someone want a second that was on the prevailing side?
Why can't he second?
Because he didn't vote in the affirmative. Is somebody voting on
Does
the
that
affirmative?
have to be the motion maker and the second, or just the motion maker?
That's why I was judged by this side over here.
I voted on the prevailing side, I second. So,
Okay, thank you.
Member Davis, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yeah, I'll just quickly speak to it. Most LEAs actually have policies that if teachers are giving a subjective piece, that there needs to be some objective criteria in the rubric so that students know what categories they're working on. And so it doesn't become just a subjective, you get an A, you get a B, you get a C, because that's my opinion. And so, when I understood this to be evaluating kind of a pre-writing, free-form piece of writing for literary techniques to move into the more organized writing, I felt that would still work in the evaluation strand. But if the evaluation is just sort of a free form stream of consciousness.
Okay.
I think that's opposed to a lot of LEA's policies.
I'm going to take chair's prerogative and ask a question of Member Klein. Were you intending for free form to be the personal work, or were you intending free form to be the form of the evaluation using free form response?
It's focused free-form writing that gives the kids an objective while they free-form write their evaluation.
This clause, this word, to modify this, not to be, examine and evaluate using a response. You want them to write free form.
Want them to write their evaluation in a focused free-form way.
Do you understand how you need to change your amendment then? Because when you say you're evaluating using free form, that's the evaluation, not the writing.
So if we just say, amend it to say examine and evaluate using,
No, because you're evaluating using a tool. What I
what
think
she
you mean
wants.
is examine and evaluate a free-form personal work.
Chair Hart, Vice Chair
examine
Hart.
and evaluate through
we-
free-form writing.
One thing, I don't think we voted to bring this back yet, and we're having a
yeah.
discussion on it.
Thank you.
And then, I don't know if there's like an order here.
There is.
I'd love to jump in.
Okay, we are going to go back and we are going to vote because it is a motion and a second, and it's been spoken to more than it should, and now we're going to vote on it. Yes.
This is whether to bring it back. So Bogus,
No.
Booth,
Wait, this is to bring
This
it
is
back.
to
vote
vote
to
to
bring-
bring it back. We
not
never
to vote
voted.
on the amendment. Okay,
We are not voting on the amendment. We are voting on bringing it back.
thank you.
yes, we did. Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
No.
Davis,
Yes,
Earl, yes. Green? Yes. Hart,
Yes.
Hymus,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes.
Lear,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
and Moss.
Yes.
That was, yep, thank you.
13
14 yeses and 2 nos.
That motion passes. It is now on the floor using the order. Member Hymus, you have the floor. 13-2.
13-2.
Member Hymus.
Thank you. I'd like to, I move that we strike newly returned Strand 4.6.
There is a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
second.
No, it's okay.
I heard a second. Cindy,
motion is to
Member
strike
Davis
4.6.
is a second. Would you like to speak to your motion, Member Hymus?
This motion isn't difficult. Understanding this is difficult. We've spent a lot of time trying to understand it. We've given opportunity to say, let's move things around to make it work, and there's not an agreement on that. One of the reasons I abstained was because it doesn't make sense. I'm still trying to figure it out. The writing committee came up with a great strand. It covers a lot of things. It's going to help a lot of students in their creative writing class. I think we stick with that. At this point, I don't see the value that a confusing strand brings to this body.
Motion to amend.
Thank you. Member Bogus, you're next.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
Member Lear, you're next.
Same.
Member Klein, you're next.
I move to amend 4.6 to read examine and evaluate a personal work through free-form writing for the effective use of literary techniques or elements.
Do we have a second on the floor to that motion? Member Green, please speak into your mic.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you like to speak to your motion, Member Klein?
I'm hoping that it's a lot more clear now.
Okay.
and
Deputy
you put
Deputy
it on
Norman,
board?
did you get that amendment, please?
I'm trying to clarify. I have the amendment. I'm not sure how to title it because it was brought back, and it was Board Member Green's amendment, so it's already an amendment. And now we have an amendment to the amendment, which is Board Member Hymas's, and now we have an amendment to the amendment, which I don't think we can do, can we?
So,
It's just, yeah, it doesn't go back to the previous,
right,
it's a new,
his was a new one, hers is an amendment.
Thank you. That's what I need to know.
so did you get my wording, or do you want me to say it again?
Yes, please.
Examine and evaluate a personal work through free-form writing for the effective use of literary techniques or elements. The effective use of literary techniques or elements.
Is that correct on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. It's been motioned, second, it's a motion, it's a second. Member Klein, would you like to speak to it? It's right there.
I think we've spoken enough to it.
Okay. Any other, seeing no other comments, we are voting on the motion, the amendment to the motion, which is on the screen.
Moss? Wood?
No.
Straight?
No.
Real?
No.
Norton?
No.
Lear?
No.
Carrie?
Yes.
Hymas?
No.
Hart?
No.
Green? Yes. Earl's a no. Davis?
No.
Klein?
Yes.
Booth?
No.
And Bogus?
Yes.
So 11 in favor and, 11 opposed. No, I did that wrong again. 11 opposed, 4 in favor.
That motion fails. We're back to Member Hymas's motion. Seeing no comments, we are going to move to a vote.
Okay, Bogus?
No.
Booth?
Yes.
Klein?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Earl is yes. Green? No. Hart?
Yes.
Hymas?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Lear?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Real?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
And Moss?
Yes.
That motion,
That motion passes, and that would be, what, 12 in favor and 3 opposed.
thank you. That motion passes. Next, we are, do we have any other amendments? Member Klein?
Yes, I would like to amend standard 4.2 and 4.4 to strike out in 4.2 consistent collaborative and 4.4 strike collaborating and conferencing.
Okay, we have
So
that amendment. Do we have a second? I hear no seconds. Let's move to the next amendment, please. We are now ready to vote on the full strand. The original motion.
So Bogus?
No.
Booth?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Sorry, Klein?
no.
Earl is a yes. Green? Hart?
Yes.
Hymas?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Lear?
Yes.
Norton? Real?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
And Moss?
Yes.
Let's see, so that's 3 in opposition and 12-4.
That motion passes. Member Booth, the motion passes 12-3. Member Booth?
I move that the board approves the professional and technical communication standards as amended, including technical, grammatical, and formatting changes as needed.
Do we have a second?
No, we don't need a second.
We don't need a second.
I have a motion.
Do we have amendments? Member Klein?
Yes, so my first one is on the summary. It's line 1. So it would add the words needed for problem solving and producing clear and concise. It would strike out including workplace. It would strike out problem solving and professional collaboration at the end. Would you like me to read it, the entire strand as it would read?
No, I think that this is, do we have a second?
I would second that. And I
Member-
would speak to it if allowed.
Member Bogus, first, the maker of the motion gets to.
Okay, go
No?
ahead.
Member Bogus.
To me, it just reads more clearly. That would be it, and it produces an internal justification.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Member Straight?
Professional collaboration, a non-starter for me.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing, Member Hymus?
I'm sorry, I worry that this is going to throw off the strands below it,
Okay,
so I'd speak
No,
against it.
doesn't.
thank you. Seeing no other comments, we're moving to a vote.
Okay, Moss?
No.
Point of order, I'm sorry, or information.
Yeah.
Do you have evidence of that? Because it affects how I will vote.
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir,
No,
I am.
that's why I said I'm worried. I don't know for sure, no.
Lines above his head.
Okay, thank you.
But typically, if I can speak to it, typically whenever you have an introduction, a lot of the strands are built around it. You know what I mean? They're connected.
Yes.
And so when you start cutting out major pieces like including workplace, problem solving, and professional collaboration, I would have to assume, and I know what assuming means, but I would have to assume that it would affect the rest of the strands.
May I comment?
You are next.
It's a very short, these standards are very short. They're right there, probably on the same page. It would be easy to take a glance and see, but I always look at that to make sure that I am trying to stay true to keep everything aligned.
Okay, thank you. Member Bogus, did you have another comment?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Member Straight, did you have another comment?
Just wanted to clarify, I said professional collaboration was a non-starter. What I meant by that was taking it out was a non-starter.
I was going to bring
As
that up
well
with
as
you
the-
later.
As well as the other things up there. we were
Thank
taking.
you. I was worried.
So just another point of clarification. Again, maybe I'm incorrect and maybe my glasses don't work. I'm not seeing where we're taking collaboration out. I just see where we're moving it.
Okay,
Like problem solving to me is a collaborative process. So maybe you can help me understand that. I'm not trying to prolong the conversation. I'm genuinely trying to understand how problem solving is not a collaborative process.
okay.
They're stricken.
Member Green? Okay. Member Klein?
Sorry. I'm ready. Sorry.
Oh, you're ready.
That's
Okay, sure, go ahead.
I think it does address like the professional collaboration because it comes out of emphasizing technical and professional communication,
Okay.
which is a part of that. So I do like that it actually clarifies. I went and worked at a judging thing for an initiative at this big event up in Colorado just a week ago, and I will tell you, of the 12 teams that we interviewed, the people that were not able to communicate and address the problem, solve the problem, and make it clear and concise, they didn't win. And of those 12, there was 2 teams that had that ability. And nothing short of a little bit of disappointment that we experienced that of the plan B that was given to them, the solve, 2 hit it strong, right out of the park, because they literally were professional in their communicating skills because of how they solved the problem, and they were clear and concise with all of the things that follow after that. So I actually feel it's extremely relevant and very well worded. So I do support this.
Thank you. Member Straight?
Yeah, I would say that, looking at it, I would agree with that. And that's why I'm concerned with what was stricken out, is because it stated very clearly what skills were trying to be addressed in this standard. And I think it still is the collaboration standard, isn't it? Anyway,
Okay.
we'll leave it at that.
Are you there to speak?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm here to speak. This is the heading. When you go down under the strand, I am seeing clarify professional and technical written digital. I think there is pieces of that throughout here. So anyways.
Okay. Member Klein, are you commenting on this or waiting? Okay. Let's go to a vote. Member Green, are you commenting or? Okay, thank you. Let's go to a vote.
Okay, Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
No.
Klein? Yes.
Davis,
No.
Earl, I'm saying yes. Green? Yes. Hart,
Yes.
Hymus,
No.
Carey,
No.
Lear,
No.
Norton,
No.
Brill,
No.
Straight,
No.
Wood,
No.
and Moss.
No.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 opposed and 5 in favor.
The vote at 10 to 5,
So it
4,
failed.
the motion fails. Next amendment?
Yes, I would like to amend 2.4 to strike critical, empathetic, appreciative, and reflective, and replace that with the wording at the end, reiterating for clarity as necessary.
Okay, do we have a second? Seeing no second, next amendment.
Okay, that's it.
That's it. We're back to the original motion. Let's vote.
All right, Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
No.
Davis,
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Green? Yes. Hart,
Yes.
Hymus? Carey,
Yes.
Lear,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
did I get it? Real,
Yes.
sorry, and Moss.
Yes.
Okay, and that passes with 1 opposed and 14 in favor.
Back to you, Member Booth.
I move that the board approves the human anatomy standards as amended, including technical, grammatical, and formatting changes as needed.
Do we have a second?
No second needed.
No second needed. Do we have amendments? We must. Member Carey?
Iowa quarter to the leave your light on jar. That was my.
Thank you. Member Klein?
Motion to substitute?
Motion to substitute? Your motion, please.
So, and maybe it's, I move to postpone to a special session the remaining standards.
We have a motion on the floor to postpone to a special session. Do you have any details on that special session?
As soon as it can be scheduled.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to postpone to a special session. Do we have a second?
I would second, and I would like to speak to the motion, should the maker of
First-
the motion be okay with that.
First, would you like to speak to your motion?
I will say just because of the lateness of the hour and the number of amendments that we still have to go, it's so that we can do our best work.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
And comments to that motion?
Yes, I'll just go back to the election cycle. One of the struggles that my constituents had is they don't feel like when we meet into the wee hours of the evening that we're really honoring the spirit of transparent meetings. I mean, we're video recorded, but we're after 10 o'clock at night. And I would just like to honor their request that we do things during waking hours and that we allow the public to engage during waking hours. And then I would support Member Klein's assertion that to do our best work, we really do need to be fully present and not rushed.
Member Reel?
Yeah, I recognize that it's late at night, and I also recognize that the maker of the motion has the most amendments that we're going to be going through. But to me, this process, again, the process has so many steps with so much input, including 13 hours of special session time that we spent in our committee meeting. And to me, I feel like at this point, there are fixes that we need to go through. I wish there weren't as many amendments as they are, and I wish there weren't 111 amendments that we already have gone through on these. Many of these that are going to be reappearing, we already voted on committee against. And so I hate to go late, but I hate to use our taxpayer dollars for a special session for the entire board to go through this as well.
Okay, Member Lear?
And I, as a small government Democrat, believe that this is a waste of taxpayer money. And we pay every board member $300 per meeting. And that, in my mind, is a lot of money. That's not all the money. That's not staff time, that's not comp time, that's not facilities dollars. And I think we need to be more responsible about this. And if we don't like going into the wee hours of the night, then we need to be more discriminating about our amendments and not bring back amendments that have already failed, if not twice, but once.
Okay.
Or vice versa.
Thank you. For the record, Deputy Jones, we don't make $300. What is the exact amount?
I said almost 300.
Almost, okay. For the record, it is $280, just so that nobody thinks we gave ourselves a raise.
As long as I said almost.
Member Carey, did you have?
Yeah, I just want to, I'm just concerned that some of the language seems to suggest that maybe these amendments aren't appropriate or done with the right care. I don't think, to the extent that happened, I don't think that's appropriate to impugn the motive of any board member. And whether there's one amendment or 100, if we choose to amend our rules to limit that or address it, I think we have that prerogative. But when we talk about the process, I think part of that process is this meeting and hearing each board member. And if we don't like it, we have the power to change it.
Thank you. Member Earl?
And I can't do a secondary substitute motion, right? Is that accurate? At this point, yours is a substitute motion, right?
Can an amendment made to be can an amendment be made to a
I could-
substitute motion?
Let me.
I'm pretty sure you can make an amendment, and I'm pretty sure what you're going to suggest would qualify as an amendment.
So
Because,
instead of a special session, I would,
hold on,
well, we can vote on it, but I would,
we wouldn't vote on the underlying motion if it's an amendment. We'd vote on the amendment first and then go back to the, while they're looking it up, would you just, while we're looking it up, would you tell, please,
Well-
Chair's prerogative, I want to know what the amendment is.
so I would suggest we continue tomorrow during our session tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
So that is giving clarity to when that special session is. I was,
yeah, the study session would be replaced with this. So.
okay, so do we have a ruling on whether we can amend the substitute motion?
In my understanding, the substitute is an amendment to an original motion? Or is there an amendment, substitute, it depends. If the substitute is a second amendment, then that's it. You can't amend it any further.
Okay, so the motion, the underlying motion was made by Chair Booth that we approve the standards that are next.
Okay.
Next, an amendment was, substitute was offered by Member Klein.
Okay.
So that's all
Then you
we've,
can amend a substitute. The
okay,
substitute's
so
not
an
the second,
amendment
it's the
is in
same.
order. Would you like to make that amendment?
I would like to amend that we don't have from special session to study session tomorrow to continue this.
Do we have a second for that amendment? You're going to second that amendment? Okay. So we are now,
We get to speak to that?
now Vice Chair Earl is going to speak to her amendment.
We had set aside time for the vision and mission. I think we need to get these standards completed, and anyways, I would recommend we did that.
Are there any other comments to the amendment? I have Bogus and then Lear.
Respectfully, I would speak against the amendment. I schedule my entire life around these meetings and the chances of that meeting going long, and I have commitments that I take my responsibilities here very seriously, and I scheduled my week around tomorrow's meetings, and I would like to honor my commitments, and I think we all do, but I'm not
Okay.
able to accommodate that.
Okay, thank you. Member Lear?
And similarly, I had, one item was scheduled that I thought I could miss without great concern, and now we're putting in a very different issue that I would not miss for anything.
Okay.
But I'm scheduled to leave on an airplane.
Okay, so we have 2
o'clock.
comments. Any other comments towards that amendment? We will now vote on the amendment.
So, Molly, sorry, I have my hand
Oh,
up.
I am sorry, Member Davis. Thank you for interrupting. Please just interrupt.
Just a question. So was this in place of the mission and vision or in addition to the mission and vision?
You would have to probably substitute it. There's no way we could do both. So
But people can't be there tomorrow.
it
so
sounds
they
like
wanna
we have some people that are,
keep going tonight.
Yeah.
Because I don't think in May, it's going to be really hard for you to find any day that's, everybody can be there.
Okay, that,
And
thank
I'd Say
you.
we just keep going for one more hour or something.
Okay, thank you. The amendment on the floor with a second and comments is that we postpone and to tomorrow's study session time in place of the mission vision conversation. We will now vote.
all right, Bogus,
No.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein, Davis,
No,
Earl, I'm a yes. Green? No. Hart? Hymas?
No.
Carrie?
No.
Lear? No. Norton?
No.
Brill?
No.
Straight?
No.
Wood?
No.
Moss?
No.
Hart?
I don't care. Does it? what's
You're
the vote?
abstaining, so 1, 2,
I mean, I really don't care.
so 2 in favor, 1 abstention,
Abstain.
and that leaves 13 noes.
So it does not
So
pass.
the-
We're back
yep.
to the original motion, the original substitute motion, which is Member Klein's, and Member Klein's original motion was to postpone to a special session, which would in effect,
We'd hold a special session as soon as we can do it.
yeah, but that
Oh, I'm sorry.
wouldn't, that would not adjourn the meeting. It would just postpone this item. All the remaining standards, but that's not all that's on the agenda.
Do it in the middle of the night.
Board comments and you. Yeah.
You got my chair's report sheet up?
Okay.
All the
All right.
I'd li- I-
Member Lear? Member Earl, did you want to speak? Member Lear?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Member Bogus?
Yeah, I would just remind us that I do think we need to conduct our business during waking hours. I think it's so important, not just for us as people being here at the table, but for our constituents and for the public. And I know that this presents a conundrum, And I too am fiscally conservative, but I want us to conduct our business during waking hours.
Thank you, Member Carey.
Yeah, just to the extent we need a substitute motion, so
All
the remaining items, not just the pending.
Her motion was, did you say all remaining items?
Right, and I would make an amended motion to move all the remaining items to.
I think the amendments are, we feel. So we can still do another
I
amendment?
think you can, because her Member Earl's amendment, or Vice Chair Earl's amendment failed, so we're back to the substitute. So yeah, an amendment would be
Oh,
appropriate.
it goes back to 0? Okay. Would you like to make a substitute amendment? Amendment to the substitute?
Yeah, and it would just be to move all the remaining items.
Thank you.
To a special session.
Would that be a friendly amendment? Okay, because that removes the vote. If we can just, if that's what you meant. Oh, no, I know, but did you intend to end the meeting with this motion? Okay, okay. So would you still like to make your motion to include all items?
Yes.
Okay. There is an amendment to the substitute motion. Do we have a second? We do not have a second, so we're back to Member Klein's underlying substitute motion.
Can I just second it right now?
Second
I'll
his?
just second his motion.
Okay, there is a second now, so we will move to voting. Unless, Member Lear, you'd like to speak to that.
I think we, in all seriousness, and I've been as flippant as anybody, or more so, but I think we have got to address this problem and stop putting Band-Aids on it. We have people with real day jobs whose livelihoods depend on them. Some of us have flexible time, some of us are retired, but some people have day jobs. And I think it's really inconsiderate that that doesn't play into this discussion of extra sessions and extra sessions.
So are you saying that you are making some sort of motion
I
to
don't have
revisit
a-
the standards
I
process?
don't care. I would rather stay till the middle of the night tonight because I think it's unfair to Sarah. It's unfair to other people who have day jobs who can't
Okay,
move their time around.
thank you. The motion on the floor, Member Hymas.
Yeah, I want to speak against this motion. I'm one of those people who have a day job, and I'm already making up work that I'm missing, right?
Okay.
I don't want to keep this
Okay.
up either.
Member Straight?
Yes, have we used up our amendments?
We have, no, we have, unfortunately, we have not used up our amendments. I did not mean that as an editorial. I'm just, no, we have not.
So, okay, as soon as
Yeah.
it's not,
We're
I'm ready to
max.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we need to vote on Member Carey's amendment.
To make sure everything is added, right?
Yes.
Okay.
His
No, but it's
amendment,
just to add. the
his
whole-
amendment added.
Okay. All right, here we go. Moss? Wood?
No.
Straight?
No,
Real? No. Norton? Lear?
No.
We're adding his stuff.
Yes.
adding
We're
Carrie's
adding just the
stuff.
rest of the action items.
No.
Okay. Carrie?
Yes.
Hymus?
Yes.
Hart?
No.
Green? Earl is no. Davis?
No.
Klein? Booth?
No.
Bogus?
Yes.
And who did I miss someone?
He,
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Booth
6,
and
7.
Lear.
7 in favor and 4 against, so it fails.
Whoa.
7 in favor, 8 against, it fails.
I was a no.
Is my numbers accurate? Are my numbers accurate? Thank you.
Moss was a. Moss was a. Yes.
One of 7.
All right.
So, 5 in favor, 9 opposed.
No.
The
Okay.
motion failed. We are back to the underlying motion.
We could have been through it now.
The vote was just to combine them. That's all we did. We did an amendment. Sybil, what is the vote, please?
On this last one?
Uh-huh.
I count 9 opposed.
9 opposed, 5 in favor, Moss abstained. So just don't worry about it. The
You voted no. You voted yes.
It doesn't
I was
matter.
a yes on Carrie. I know it doesn't matter, but,
We,
you didn't care. I was a yes.
the, 9-6, the motion fails. We are back to this motion as stated by Member Klein, which is to postpone to a special session.
Point of clarification.
Yes,
If I-
Member Box.
If I recall correctly, she wanted to postpone the remaining standards.
The remaining standards to a
If I
special
am wrong,
session.
please correct me.
No. What?
You have.
I don't know if it matters, but I typed it as it was stated, and so that's how it was stated. Is that how you did it? Move to postpone. Can
She
you
did,
tell
and
me where
that's
it's
why
at?
I,
Move
That's
to
why we needed the
postpone
amended motion.
remaining
That's exactly right.
standards.
apparently.
Thank you.
we didn't.
Because that would have been the same thing.
So what we are voting on right now, well, after Member Straight, would you like to make a comment?
I'd like to make a motion, a substitute.
I don't know that,
We're
you
back
can
to-
I guess you can do a substitute for a
Well, let's
substitute.
do an amendment.
You can't do a sub of a sub.
I don't know,
I
but
can-
he's shaking his head yes. Okay, what is your amendment, Member Straight?
Okay. I move that we adopt the remaining standards as they came from the writing committee, and I'd like to speak to that.
Can you, that's not amending any of the substitute? I will await.
They were joined together.
Hers was a motion to postpone. Can you, but it was a substitute motion.
So we just voted an amendment
You
that
didn't
combined
make a motion to
everything.
postpone, you substituted an amendment that was on the floor. Yeah. Well, the amendment was on the floor. Yeah. Please read.
Page 154, footnote, it says, "It is thus possible to introduce a proposed substitute for a substitute, which cannot be amended since it is a secondary amendment."
Thank you. You be very careful in your substitute
Okay.
that you are proposing.
Tell me how I can be careful.
Whatever it is you're going to say, please say it carefully.
Okay. So make a substitute motion. I
I
move.
move.
We following substitute, that we approve,
Go ahead,
that we
please.
approve the remaining standards as from the writing committee.
Okay.
And if I get a second, I'd like to speak to it.
Well, hold on. And Chair ruled on that with the advice of AAG Quisenberry, but that was my ruling. So, there is a second on the floor. Would you please speak?
Yes. So as I've thought about this, and I listened to the standards committee. I've had many discussions and thoughts, and one of the things that really stuck out to me that was brought up in the standards in a committee meeting was this idea of supplemental. And the idea of supplemental means in addition to what is already present of available to complete or enhance. So these supplemental standards are meant to be built upon the standards that came before.
Okay.
And so one of the things I did is I looked back at a standard that was adopted in 2019. And it had to do with environmental science. And there's 4 strands in environmental science. And the 4th strand 3 times talks about climate change. And so, to me, these standards, they're linear. They have their vertical and horizontal alignment. And many of the things that we're looking at in regards to these standards mess that up.
Okay.
And so, to me, I feel very comfortable with what came out of the writing committee. And my rule that I always said when I was on standards committee, if it's an amendment, if it isn't better, I'm not considering it. It could be equal, and we could have a long debate about it, but it has to be absolutely better,
Okay.
or I'm not going to vote in favor
Thank
of
you.
that.
Thank you,
That's
Member
my-
Straight.
That's my point.
Thank you. Member Earl?
Yeah, I would speak against this. I think we've done a lot of work, and I think we can continue to do that. And most of the ones we've passed have almost been unanimous up to this point tonight. Supplemental, to me, these are additional standards. There's not a set of standards for any of those that we'll be passing now. This is the first time we've had standards in this area, so it is important. So anyways, that's my.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other comments, we're going to vote.
All right, Bagus?
Does everybody understand what we're voting on? Thank you.
And
That
that's-
is correct.
Yeah, that's what came out of the writing committee.
Yeah, okay. For those online and anybody watching, the motion is to approve the remaining standards as written from the writing committee.
No.
Booth?
That's your vote?
Oh,
Okay.
I thought I was called.
No, you are.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, thank you.
Bagus? Booth?
No.
Yes.
Klein?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Chair, Earl? No. Sorry, Green?
She's gone.
Hart?
Oh, Member Green?
No.
Hart? Hymas? Carey?
No.
Lear?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Moss?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
What is that vote?
It was 8 in favor.
8 in favor, and how many opposed? 7 opposed, that motion passes. That takes us to item number 15, 16, I'm sorry, board member comments. We will recognize board member comments in the order in which you hit your lights. So Board Member Earl? No? Board Member Reel?
Sorry.